Hello everybody, welcome to the next video in my Photo Basics series where we're looking at film loading. In this episode we're going to be looking at loading 120 film, medium format film. We're going to be using our Bronica medium format camera. We have a whole host of medium format cameras available to you at the college. This is the most popular one when you're working out on location or working in the studio to take some really high quality negatives. And so we're going to get straight to it and we're going to look at how we load the film into this camera to be able to take some shots. Okay, so we're going to load our medium format film into the camera, and the first thing we've got to do to get our film into the camera is on the back part of the camera there are two little white arrows pointing inwards, and we're going to squeeze those together just to open up the back bit of the camera to take out the film holding part of the camera itself. And the film that we're going to load into our camera is going to be some Ilford HP5 Plus film. So first thing we're going to do, open up that film, and we have a whole range of different medium format films, different ISO ratings available at the college. When you get it, it will come in a box, and inside that box there will be a little foil packet, and once you open the foil packet, take out the film, and it'll say that it's unexposed film. And then we are going to peel off the first little white sticky part to reveal where it says unexposed on it. And then we're just going to give it a little pull, make sure it doesn't come loose, and get out a film paper tab that we're going to load into our camera. So looking at our film cassette, you've kind of got to, with this one, remember that you'll already have one of these film take-up spirals in the camera already. Now looking at the film camera, on our cameras you'll see it says Zenza Bronica at the bottom. That is the bottom part where the film is going to feed onto. So we want to make sure that this empty film take-up is positioned to cover that. So you open it up, put it onto the little slot and then close it down, so that locks that in place. Sometimes if you rent out one of these cameras, you might find that one is left on the top if someone's just taken out the film. As good practice, it's always good that once you finish shooting the film, you make sure that you put the empty spiral from where your film was when you put it in, you put it back in at the bottom so it's ready to go for the next person. To load the film, we're going to push on the little sticking out tab at the top to open the side lock for the film. Take our film, and the white paper where it says unexposed, you want to put that so it's facing down as though it's towards the camera so we can see the black part. And that we're going to load on to the film take-up spiral, lock it in place, and take this film leader, stretch it out over the front of the film chamber, pull a little bit out so it goes over there, and then similar to what we've done with our 35mm cameras, we have a tiny little plastic slot that runs through the spiral, and then we're going to tuck that film leader in just to over there. Once our film is loaded into the cassette chamber, the tag is nicely secured in there. You'll see that we have a film advance dial which is showing us which way around to wind the film. And if you look straight down the length of the film, you'll see just on the metal markings there is a little orange arrow, and what we're going to do is wind on this paper just to get a good lock of the paper around the film holder, and then a black line is going to appear on the paper with an arrow. And you want the two arrows, the arrow on the film, to be lined up with the arrow that is on the piece of metal, which is the marking to give you the right registration for your film. So we take our little film wind and we're going to start winding it around, check that the film just threads nicely on it, which it is, and then we're going to wind our film dial until we see, there it is, our little black arrow. So that line there is pointing perfectly at the orange wind on, so we know that it's lined up ready to go. So once you've done that, you're now ready to put your film back into your camera. So the loaded film is going to go at the top. So you push that in, it lines up nicely together and it will lock in place, and your film is in the camera ready to start shooting. Okay, so currently our shutter is on the start. We need to get it to the 0, and how we do that is by just firing and winding on. So taking the winding crank, we're going to keep winding the crank, and the joy of these cameras is you can keep winding it and that's loading the film from the paper, and once you've hit where the film's ready to start, the camera will lock, and that means that you're ready to start taking the shot and capturing your images. So I'm just going to place that back down. I'm not quite ready to go out and shoot with this one yet, so I'm going to take the dark slide and load that back in. And there is a little marking on the top of the camera just up here, a little white dot, and there's a little white dot on top of the dark slide, so you know which way around to put that in. Locks in place and it's done. So we're ready to go off and do our shoot. So once you're ready to do the shoot, we're going to take out our dark slide, so the film is ready to be exposed. Open your viewfinder, and there's some lovely looking vintage wallpaper on the wall there, so we're going to just use the focus dial, make sure your subject is in focus, and when you're ready to shoot you fire the button and then wind it, and you wind it twice and it will click and it locks. So that's our first frame taken, and we're ready to take the next one. So once you've finished your shoot and you're ready to get the film out, you've done all the shots, you're just going to keep winding it on, and it'll just almost like keep winding on forever and ever and ever. That means your film's fed from one side to the other and it's ready to come out. So I'll take my dark slide and I will put that back in place, white mark to white mark. That's gone in there. Okay, so to get the film out, we're going to push the two markers that we pushed together at the very beginning to put the film in. Pop that, open the back to take the cassette chamber out. Now you'll see that the film that we put in at the top has gone all the way around onto the bottom spiral. So we're going to take that out by pushing it just slightly towards the left, so that opens up and we can take the film out. And we'll see now, we can see the bit of tape that says exposed to let us know we've shot that film. Take the film leader, give it a tug that's nice and tight, tuck it inside and fasten it round. Now on the back here there is some an adhesive which we're going to lick the back like you would with a postage stamp and then pull it tightly around the back to seal it in. Okay, so once you have the glue strip wet, you can pull it, get it all down, make sure it's nice and tight in there. You really don't want any light getting into the film. So that's sealed up. We can see where it says exposed, so that one is ready to take away and process it in the processing rooms. One last final piece of good practice, like what we talked about at the very beginning, is now next time someone uses this camera they're going to want to put their film in there from where ours started. So we're just going to take the back spiral out, put it into the bottom and lock it up, close the top one, and then you're ready to put the film chamber back in, close it, get rid of all the bits that we did, and that is already done to pack away because we're finished. Okay, so that was loading medium format film into one of the medium format cameras. I hope that helped and acted as a nice little overview for showing you how to put the film in, carry out your shoots and then take the film out so it's ready to be processed. And in future videos we'll look at how to process the different formats of film that we've been looking at in this series of videos. The more you go up the film formats, the much more of a treat you're in for. When you go from 35mm to medium format and then to large format, the quality of your negatives jumps up so much, and it really does take your analog photography to the next level. And I will see you next time when we look at another film format. Until then, happy shooting, enjoy the world of film, and enjoy one of the greatest sounds in analog photography. That is how you take a photograph.